j'espère que vous allez très bien aujourd'hui. Today we're going to talk about stem changers and accent movers, and I call it exceptional fun in French. This is the boot, so you need to be familiar with the boot because I make a lot of references to it and so do other people. What is the boot? It is where you've got the singular side of the graph when you do verb conjugation plus the il form in the plural on the plural side. And I just made this really rough sketch of a long-toed boot or booty, I guess is what they call them these days. And on the outside, the nu and the vu forms are there because if you look, especially at the ER, you'll see that all of those have the same pronunciation except the nu and vu form. So je danse, tu danses, il danse, elle danse. Exactly the same sound. The RE verb is almost the same. Je rends, tu rends, il rend, elle rende. You do hear the D there, but it's almost exactly the same. So all of those have the same sounds, whereas the nu and the vous always have a different sound. Nous dansons, vous dansez, nous rendons, vous rendez. So that is the boot. It is very important to us because if anything is going to change, whatever is in the boot is going to be identical, and the nu and vous is most likely going to do its own thing. Okay, so let's talk about YER verbs. These are regular verbs that change, okay? So first off, what is a YER verb? It's an AYER, OYER, UYER. It can be any of those. And so I just put it as a YER, although other people kind of break them all down. The endings are conjugated the same, and the stem has a slight change in the boot. Okay, so here we go. You can see, for instance, payer ends with AYER, envoyer ends with OYER, and what happens? The Y goes to an I in the boot. So instead of being PAYE, even though the ER, you still remove the ER and you end with the exact same ending. So it's like a regular verb. What actually changes is the stem. Okay, so the ending's the same as all the other ER verbs, but the stem changes. So, and it sounds the same. Je paye, tu payes, il paye. Nous payons, vous payez, il paye. So the Y turns to an I, but only in the boot. And why it does that, I don't know. I don't think in this case it has anything to do with pronunciation because the Y and the I sound the same in French, okay? But it does what it does. So envoyer is the same thing. J'envoie, tu envoies, il envoie, ils envoient, but nous envoyons, vous envoyez. And it's, again, the pronunciation is going to be the same whether you use an I or a Y. Some of the common YER verbs are balayer, essayer, payer, effrayer, employer, envoyer, nettoyer, renvoyer, appuyer, ennuyer, and essuyer. It's very, very common, these types of verbs, so it's good to know how to use them. Okay, let's talk about accent movers. This is what I call them anyway. You have the E, consonant ER, or the accent on the E, and then a consonant ER. And so what are these? Well, these include lever, emmener, préférer, inquiéter. Again, these are looking at the endings of the verb. So if you have E and then let's look at lever, E-V-E-R, emmener, E-N-E-R. You see you have the E, the consonant, and the E-R. Préféré, you have the E-R, that's the consonant that's there. So E, consonant, which is an R, E-R. And inquiéter has a T instead of an R. So I'm going to just show you what this is. Really and truly what you're looking for are these patterns that are super common and super easy to remember. So lever, for instance, emmener. Lever and emmener, they both have E, consonant, ER. So what happens here is you add an accent. Je lève, tu emmènes, elle lève, but then the nous and vous forms don't change anything. Nous levons, vous emmenez, and then ils emmènent. The reason for this is phonetic. Again, the E in French has absolutely no sound unless you put an accent on it. There is a mute E, which if nothing else is floating around is an kind of sound. But otherwise there's no sound. So if you had no accent on the je lève, it wouldn't be eh, because the accent there makes an eh sound. It'd be je lève, because there would be, even with a mute E, lève. So we can't have that. Je lève. You don't have that issue with the nous and vous forms because it has the on and the et afterwards. So nous levons, vous emmenez. So that's why it's there. Préférer, inquiéter, you see the accents going upwards, and we're going to flip it in the boot because of the way it sounds. Préfère, tu inquiètes, tu t'inquiètes is really the way it should be, but we're going to worry about that right now. Il inquiète, nous inquiétons, vous préférez, elles inquiètent. Now, what happens if we leave it in the right position or the position that it comes in? Je préfère, préfère. Instead of préfère, it's préfère. Tu inquiètes. It's hard to pronounce it that way, and it really sounds kind of funny. That's why you flip it, because it does have a different sound. All right. So more stem changers, EL, ER, and ETER verbs. They're not horribly, well, let's just look at them. They end obviously with EL, ER, and ETER, and some of these include appeler, which you know for saying je m'appelle, and épeler, which this one is to spell. And then jeter, projeter, rejeter, you see all the forms of jeter in these. And let's look at how they're conjugated. So appeler is an ELER verb, so it does add an additional L. Épeler is the same thing, so j'appelle, tu épelles, elle appelle, ils épellent. You add the extra L there, but for the nous ou vous form, you don't. Nous épelons, and vous appelez. Okay, so nous épelons, vous appelez. Okay, I don't, again, think it would change if you had an L. I don't think it would change the pronunciation, but you just don't. And that's the same with jeter. You have ETER, so you double the consonant. So, je jette, tu jettes, il jette, nous jettons, vous jettez, il jette. I know about French phonetics, but I am not a specialist in it, so I think it does have to do with phonetics. Jeter, jette, but I really couldn't tell you why. So moving along, let's talk about soft vowels. You already know about the GER verbs. So GER and CER verbs are going to do something only in one form, which is the nous form. And so I've included manger and lancer. I can't think, nager does this as well. Lancer, the CERs, you do see it, but they're just not every single moment of every single day that you're going to see them. But here we go. So, je mange, tu manges, il mange, nous mangeons, vous mangez. Notice that we have to, for the nous form, add the EONS, because if we were to remove that E, what we would have is a G up against an O, which makes a hard G sound. So it would not be nous mangeons at that point, it would be nous mangeons. So we don't want that, nous mangeons. So whenever you have GER in the nous, it's going to change. It is the same thing with the nous form for a CER form, because a C does like the G. A C up against a hard vowel makes a K sound. That's why with a word like ça va, you have the cedilla, because you have to have that little squiggle below the C, the cedilla, to make it a S sound in front of a hard vowel. So nous lançons. If we leave the cedilla off, it becomes nous lançons, and that doesn't work. So nous lançons. Lancer, to throw, is actually very, very common, and it's used in many expressions in addition to just being to throw. All right, I hope this helps. Au revoir.